I don't know when you started filming. All right.
Yeah,
So
2018.
what brought
we
about
started.
this? What were you like prior? Were you a faithful Catholic? Did you convert to Catholicism? And then what was this conversion you're referring to like?
So it was a deeper conversion of my Catholicism. So I was a practicing Catholic. I was baptized Greek Orthodox, and my father's from the Middle East, from Egypt, and the family is Greek Orthodox, and my mother's Roman Catholic from Ireland. And when we left New York City, we moved to the suburbs, and there weren't a whole lot of Orthodox churches. And my dad, being a Christian in Egypt, went to Catholic school run by French Jesuits, and so it was, for him, it was merely a matter of just transitioning to this other church. We didn't think about it as conversion or converting, and let's just go here. I mean, it's pretty close. And I ended up making my first communion and my confirmation as a Catholic, and it stuck. And I think when I was in my 20s, I was kind of dallying with the idea, the romantic notions of the Orthodox Mass again, and the music and the incense, and I was like, oh,
It's beautiful.
I miss it. Yeah, it's stunning. It's so unique. But I didn't feel drawn to revert or to go back or to just start practicing differently. I just stuck with it and I kind of meandered my way spiritually through life, but always, from that point forward, but always had a connection. I was looking for spiritual direction. I had a dream that a pretty fantastic dream that I think in many ways was a prophetic dream in my late 20s, early 30s, where I was still living in New York at the time, and before I moved to LA, and LA was where I booked The Chosen. I had this dream that I was coming from, if you lived in Long Island and you commuted daily to New York City, you took the Long Island Railroad, which is the metro commuter. So the dream was like I was coming back from work or from school at the time, because I went to school in the city when I lived at home, and I was on the train, and then I found myself, as we were pulling into my hometown station, I found myself kind of walking alongside the train as it's moving before it pulls into the station. And I was effectively, it's elevated like 2 stories up, so I was effectively just walking on air alongside this train as it's moving, and people on the train were like looking out, and their eyes got really big, and they were just a little shocked to see a man walking alongside the train. And then I found myself inside the train, and I'm walking through the center corridor, the aisle, and people started dropping on their knees and praying to me as if I was Jesus. And I said, no, I'm not Jesus. I'm not Jesus.
Did you have a beard and long hair at the time?
No.
Okay, so it's not like people were telling you look a lot like Jesus.
No, not even that. I did when I was in college, but at this point I had short hair and was clean shaven. And so I'm like, what is going on? And I said, I'm not Jesus. I'm just a dude. And then, fast forward like 15 years later, I get cast as Jesus, and I'm saying these words to people. I'm like, I can't heal you. I'll pray for you, but I can't heal you from the thing you're suffering from. And so it was really, really strange. But I had attitudes on dating that I no longer have, and I had, at this point, I recognize, I think, God's design for marriage in a way that I didn't before, and children and things like that, that I just never thought about. I think I didn't really have a opinion on, abortion as, to any great extent. I thought, well, I was kind of on the fence. And then once I had this conviction, which basically came in the form of this surrender moment before I got cast in The Chosen.
Was this after the dream, or what was the thing that made you want to surrender?
Yeah, so the dream happened in New York, and then fast forward, I'm living in LA for 8 years now, and I got to the point where I was basically broke. I was struggling to work consistently as an actor, and I couldn't get arrested to cater. I was a cater waiter at one point. I drove for rideshare, and all of a sudden, all of these different side gigs just stopped. Everything stopped, and I found myself in a pretty desperate position. And I had been on government assistance for a while to kind of supplement it for food and money, and all of that ran out. And I was, I basically hit a wall. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do because I don't have enough food for tomorrow. So what's left? Prayer. I dropped to my knees, and I had a crucifix on my wall in my little 300 square foot apartment. And I just said, Lord, I've been at this for some time. It was about 20 years. I'd been pursuing acting, 8 professionally, pursuing it with no other, intentions to give it up. And I said, if you want me here doing this still, like you've given me these skills, you've given me little opportunities here and there. I'd done some big TV shows and some movies and stuff. But if you want me to make a living at this, like you got to step in, like, because I can't even support myself. And it's not on me anymore. I'm going to give it to you. I know you brought me to this place for a reason. And so I trust you. I trust I trust your word. I trust your truth. I stand on your word. I stand on your truth. And I surrender everything to you. If that means leaving the business, if that means doing something else, you got to put a fire in my heart for something else, because I don't know what else I'm going to do. And I give it to you. And now it's not my problem. And I literally, for the first time in my life and in those 8 years of struggle and hardship, I felt a weight lift. Like, I was like, okay, I have $20 in my pocket. I'm going to spend my last $20, because literally I was negative like $80 in my bank account and thousands of dollars in debt, like the whole thing. And I spent my last $20 on a meal. I'm like, all right.
Wow.
And this should be interesting. Let's see what's going to happen next, because I have no idea, but I'm okay. I'm totally fine. And I got home, and I went to my mailbox, and I opened the mailbox, and there were 4 mysterious checks sitting there, staring me in the face. I'm like, what is this? And so I took them up to my apartment. I put my phone in camera mode. I started filming myself opening these checks for posterity.
Wow.
Just to like prove that this wasn't some kind of weird hallucination.
Your memory's not failing you as you think back and romanticize it or something. This actually happened.
It actually happened. Yeah. Actually, you can see this moment. I shared this in a documentary I did called Jonathan and Jesus, which is on Amazon Prime. You can actually see the moment. I never intended this to go anywhere other than for myself. And so I opened these checks, and each one was bigger than the one before it.
Wow.
And at the end of that, I had $1,100.
Wow.
And I thought, okay, message received, complete, utter surrender. Okay, that's how this is going to go. I'm not going to worry about my career anymore. I thought my career was in my hands, and I tried to do everything I could to control it. I even keeping God at bay, like, don't worry, God, I'm the Hollywood guy. I know what to do. He's like, okay, let's see how that works. You do you, boo, and we'll see how it goes. Mm-hmm. And then I realized, I'm like, no, please help. I need help. Please help me. God, help
I take
me.
it back.
I was wrong. I was wrong. I was so wrong. Yeah. And he's like, you see what happens when you just let go of the whole thing.
I love that you seem to slip into a kind of New York brogue right there.
Yeah.
You see what
Hey,
like a mafia boss.
God, Jesus was a New Yorker red hot. What can I say? And 3 months later, I got the chosen, and my life has never been the same since.
How did you apply for it? And how did you?
I didn't.
No,
but I had done 3 short films playing Jesus for our director, producer, writer, Dallas Jenkins, for his church.
Okay.
4 years leading up to that. So 4 years prior, I played Jesus in a little film called The Two Thieves, which you can also find on Amazon.
You can. All right, I'm gonna have to look this up.
Yeah. And I read for The Penitent Thief originally because he has a great arc. And then a couple of days later, I got a call back, to audition again for Jesus, and I thought, I didn't get the Penitent Thief, but I love Jesus, so I'll read as Jesus. And I played Jesus 6 months prior for a company called St. Luke Productions. I don't know if you know them. They do touring shows about saints, like one-person shows all over the country, like student theaters, churches, and these really well-made little one-person shows. And I did a show about Saint Faustina where I played Jesus in all of her visions. And like we shot it 3 days in Washington. This is in like 2013, up at their studio. It was a teleprompter, and I'm like doing all like passages. Like they're like, here's the script, but don't worry. I'm like, they didn't give me anything going into it, and they said, don't worry, we'll have a teleprompter. I'm like, a teleprompter? Like, yeah. This is how we do it. Here's a script so you can see it if you want to look at something, but then you just read it right off the thing and make up and go. I'm like, okay,
here we go.
Faustina.
So is that available online as well?
No.
Are you grateful that it's not online anymore?
I'm not going to say. I was still working some things out. I was still working some things out as Jesus, and it also wasn't a traditional way you do this sort of a thing. So it's not my preferred way of working, but God love them. They brought so many people back to the church and back to Jesus through the show, and introduced the world to Saint Faustina and her story in a beautifully done way, and I'm grateful for it. But so that was 6 months prior to the short film with Dallas, and then after we did that, I did another film the following year for his church, like their Good Friday service, and then 2 years later, in 2017, I did the final one, and then summer of 2018 is when he called me. He's like, I think we're doing a series. We've got money raised. We're crowdfunding 4 episodes of this series. It's probably not going to go anywhere, but it'll be a few episodes of television.
What was he calling it? The Chosen?
It was The Chosen. Yeah. And they had come up with this idea to crowdfund it. And I thought, I have 4 episodes of television. It's the most episodes of television I've ever had. So I'll do it. And then they released the first 4 episodes. And actually, they released a trailer for the first 4 episodes. And they were still raising money for the back 4 episodes. And the trailer like catapulted the contributions for the back 4 episodes, so that we were able to finish the entire first season within the course of a year. But we shot 4 first in like fall of 2018, winter, and then summer of 2019 we shot the remainder of it, and then had released it, as something you could buy or subscribe to or purchase for the entire season. And then 2020 changed everything. The game changed after that.
Hey, thank you so much for watching. Before you go, do us a favor, leave a comment, let us know what you thought of the video, like, and subscribe.